I would appreciate if you pass this question on to a friend or family member. Is the United States moving away from stability towards instability? Is the United States on the path towards destabilization? Destabilization is a condition which occurs over much of the world presently. It's chaos, where the government can no longer control the situation and people live in a world without law and within a world of instability. Is the United States moving towards instability? When I think about that question, my answer is yes. We are moving quickly towards instability. We're moving towards instability because we lack the foundation point of integrity. Integrity to assess the current situation and then offer reforms. It's simply cheaper to organize a vast police state than it is to admit the current conditions and start to reform. It's politically cheaper to impose a lockdown on your dumb, blind, and deaf population than it is to admit where you are today and to allow reform. The powers that are in place are so afraid that the truth will be told that it is now a felony to find fact about the Gulf of Mexico. Not only that, you have to now beg British Petroleum to settle with you before you have the right to take them to court. So BP has become part of the legal process. We have health care and all these other programs which are meant to do nothing but to concentrate wealth, and it's the fleecing that occurs before a system collapses. The best model that we have to look at today, unfortunately, is the collapse of the Soviet Union. And we should look at the collapsed countries within that former nation state, and we can look at the application of force and influence which occurred to hold that nation state together. But here's sort of the kicker about the United States. The United States was part of the stabilizing system which occurred after World War II. And you can see here a picture of Churchill, Roosevelt, and Stalin dividing the world after World War II. Prior to that, the British Empire controlled the great sea lanes of the world, starting with the 1600s and then cementing that mastery of the sea with the Battle of Trafalgar. And the United States picked up the baton from the English after World War II, and here we are in the state of collapse, unable to afford empire, fighting a last-ditch unfunded war in Afghanistan, a landlocked country that would normally be within the sphere of influence of the great land empire of Eastern Europe. And now the United States is trying to supply the country which is landlocked, and it can't afford to project force anymore. Yet it's the only country which envisions its ability to provide stability to the entire world. It's divided the world up on its military zones of influence, and it cannot even manage to rebuild Iraq. It can't provide sewers. It has sewer projects which go uncompleted for years. It can't provide water, can't provide electricity, can't provide stability. It doesn't understand Afghanistan. It's handing out maps to the different tribes of Afghanistan, and the people are looking at this and saying, what's this? And people, soldiers are pointing at the map they're giving out as gifts, and they're saying, that's your country, that's what it looks like. And these people have been living in instability for generations. So is the United States about to roll into instability? We see the powers that be are in anticipation that we will become unstable. That's why the police force, the police state, has been growing and growing. It's cheaper to build out a police force and to march to goose steps and to give each other salutes than it is to have integrity and support, to be level with people and to support reform. We don't want to support reform. Instead, it's easier to march in goose steps and to subjugate your people to totalitarian rule, to make it a crime to report about the Gulf of Mexico spill, to get everyone concentrated on a propagandized media only concerned with Lindsay Lohan. I think for us here in the United States, our times and days are numbered without reform. I would prefer to see people moving along Buckminster Fuller's model towards the critical path. I would urge you to read that book to understand that reform is possible. Again, ask the question of yourself, is the United States moving from stability to instability? And then ask that same question of a friend or family member. Are we moving from stability towards instability? Ask them about the former Soviet Union. Get them to look up geography. Have them look up history. Show them a copy of what the Roman Empire looked like, and show them the ruins that are in some of the different countries spanning a good part of the ancient world. Those ruins are still there, and they're a testament to what happens when empires fail. What happens when the U.S. empire fails? Not only the people in the United States will be affected, people worldwide will be affected. If you want to find out about what happened about China, you could see the chronology of China becoming only unified only in recent history and a few times before. This isn't a region that's had stability for long periods of time. So you wonder what's going to happen to the world. Are we going to wind up in a dark age if the U.S. doesn't become reformed and doesn't stabilize? Can a police force control the people within the United States and get them to obey? I don't think so. I think that the police force, which is growing in the United States, is adding fuel to the fire and will accelerate the destabilization of the country as people's expectations aren't met and draconian measures are put into place to keep people contained. There will be bloodshed in the streets. I ask you to think about this question. Thank you for your time.